Hello you magical beings! The following video was intended for the month of August in celebration of the Lammas tradition. I had so many video projects planned for you guys and not enough time to execute them. I was away the whole last week of August into the first week of September, so I apologize for the tardiness on this one. I figured it's better late than never, and the ideas and concepts in this video can always be recycled for next year. I hope you enjoy this video nonetheless. Much love and blessed be. Justina. Mwah! Everybody, and welcome to another episode of Witchin Kitchen. I'm your host, Justina Carubia, and today I'm going to show you how to make some lavender rose cranberry cornbread. I had some requests from my last video when I did the book review on Francesca Lia Block's Fairies in the Kitchen, and she has a couple different cornbread and cornmeal recipes in here. One was a cornbread or cornmeal cake, and the other one was a actual cornbread. So I really wanted to try the cornbread, especially since we're still in the month of August and some of us are still celebrating our first harvest, and I really wanted to take the opportunity to make some cornbread and also try one of the amazing recipes in this book. I did go to a lavender farm this past weekend and I picked some lovely culinary lavender. I will not be using that today because I haven't picked the buds off and separated it from the leaves yet, but I do have some lavender here that I bought from a market by like the ounce or whatever, so I'm going to be using these instead. I'm going to be picking some rose petals from my bush right outside. I bought some awesome cranberries from the farmer's market today, so I'm going to be using those as well. So I am following this recipe pretty closely, but I am adding a few extra ingredients on my own that weren't mentioned in the book, such as the lavender and the cranberry and the rose. I'm kind of adding those things just because I want to see, I want to see what the lavender and the cranberry taste like together, and also the rose, and it kind of, adds a little element, infusing it with love. I'm going to show you what ingredients I have. There's kind of a lot of ingredients, so if you're planning on making this recipe, you're gonna have to go for a little run to the farmer's market. I'm lucky I have most of this stuff in my house already. The only things that I had to buy today were the cornmeal and the cranberry. I had the lavender, I have the rose outside, and everything else I had in my pantry. The recipe also calls for buttermilk, but I'm not going to be using buttermilk because I don't have any on hand. I wanted to use almond milk, but I'm almost out, so I'm going to use regular milk. But you guys can use whatever you want. If you don't drink regular milk, you can try the almond milk or try the buttermilk, whatever. Tailor this recipe to you, especially if you don't like lavender or rose petals or flowers in your food. It's completely up to you, but these flowers are completely 100% edible, and as long as they're organic and they're not filled with the pesticides, it should be fine to put in your food. So here we go. I'm going to show you my ingredients. So here's the book that I did a review on, and you can find that video right over here in the upper right hand corner of the screen. I flipped through the book a little bit in that review, so you can see all the recipes that she has in this awesome book. So today I'm going to be focusing on our cornbread recipe. First things first, we're going to need our cornmeal. Now be careful when you buy this at the market that it's not pre-mixed cornbread mix, which I had in my hand, but then I saw this and I grabbed this instead. So this is just 100% whole grain cornmeal. They didn't have other grinds, they only had this, but this is medium grind, so I'm going to see how this comes out in this today. We're going to need some flour, some baking soda and our baking powder. We're going to need salt, 2 eggs beaten, and some whole kernels. I'm actually going to defrost some of these. We're going to need some butter. This is about 4 tablespoons of butter. This is actually vegan butter. earth balance vegan butter, so there is no dairy in it. It's just all oils, and I think canola oil might be like the main oil in this butter. But I mean, I call this my guilt-free butter, so I use this in almost everything. And then we're just gonna need our lavender buds, a handful of those, our cranberries, and you're gonna want a big bowl to mix it all in together. I'm gonna go out and pick some rose from my garden right now, so come on out with me. It smells so good, you guys. Alright, so we have our lovely rose from the garden. It smells just so amazing, you guys. I love it. So that combined with the cranberries and the lavender, I think is going to be really delicious. So let's get into this recipe. So first we're going to want to preheat our oven to 400 degrees. Here's my baking pan. It's all greased. I use some of the vegan melted butter to grease it. So I'm just gonna start mixing all my ingredients. So I'm going to give this a bit of a stir before I sift it all together. The sifting just removes all of the clumps. So once I get a general stir, I'm going to put it through the sifter into my larger bowl. So now we're going to need 4 tablespoons of melted butter, and it's already melting because it's been sitting on the counter for a little bit. Okay, so we're going to stir in our butter mixture here, and we're going to mix this together with our dry ingredients until the mixture becomes like a coarse meal. Here's our milk and egg mixture, and we're going to stir it into our cornmeal mixture just until it's combined. Alright, you guys sticking with me so far? I made it this far, so I'm really proud of myself. So now I'm gonna add my favorite stuff. I'm gonna add my lavender, my rose, and my cranberry. So for these added specialty ingredients, I'd say add them to taste. If you want a more tart bread, then add more cranberries. If you enjoy a more floral taste, then add less cranberries, so they don't overpower the lavender. One thing I learned from trying this recipe is that a little bit of lavender goes a long way. I definitely added way too much, so next time I'll be sure to scale back a lot when it comes to the lavender. Another thing I learned from doing this recipe is that the final product came out way too dry, so I think the buttermilk was essential in keeping the bread more light and fluffy, and not as dense as it ended up. One thing this recipe did lack was sweetening, which the book did not call for. If you're on a sugar-free diet, you can use honey to sweeten, as well as an all-natural stevia. I ended up sweetening my finished bread with some drizzled honey, or paired with some jam, or the vegan butter. So pretty, you guys! I love this! quite sure what happened here. So I'm gonna let that cool for a little bit, and then we're gonna take it out of our pan and cut it into some squares. Alright guys, so here is my beautiful cornbread. I am so happy with how this came out. It just looks delicious, and you can see the lavender in it, the rose, the corn bits, and the cranberries. And I think I'm going to taste a piece right now, and I will let you know how it is. Okay, so the lavender is a bit strong. The cranberry is delicious, and the corn. I think it could have used a little sugar, which the recipe did not call for sugar, but I probably could have gotten away with putting, you know, at least a quarter cup of sugar or something in it. So you can also, you know, pair this up with your favorite jams or butters. It is lacking a little bit of flavor. It smells amazing, and the texture is nice. It's got a little bite to it. Thank you so much for tuning into Witchin Kitchen once again. I'm Justina Carubia, your host from Bohemian Magic Studios. So you can check me out on bohemianmagicstudios.com for more tips and tricks on living a magical life. Thank you for coming to join me in my kitchen today. Bye.